You know, I'm always a WhatsApp away.
I know.
But congrats on the many things you've achieved. I know your senior high school people have done flyers and they have been disturbing our timelines with it. At the right time, we'll get them. but I'm sure. One, you were not surprised when your name was mentioned that evening as the man of the year, after picking a few others. And we also know of the many prestigious awards you've won over the years. But yes, describe for us moments before your name was mentioned as the ultimate, the climax of the night, of this prestigious platform.
So thank you, Giovanni, and good afternoon to all your listeners.
Thank you.
Indeed, for competitive awards, when you enter your nomination, you are also against the big boys and big girls in the industry. So, indeed, even though we were confident that we had done a great job, anything could happen. But yes, when I was informed soon before the event itself, I was super excited. I was proud that yes, our hard work was being rewarded, and of course the talented team that I work with, I believe that they were also a huge part of this success.
I love that. And also I know this year has been a big one for you. I mean, from CEO of the year to the CIMG Marketing Man of the Year to all that. How are you handling it, and what do you think worked?
Well, I would say, we all work hard, and sometimes you expect some recognition. Even at home, when you work hard, you want your dad or mom to say at least thank you, isn't it?
True.
In the office, you expect same. But when in this kind of business, in an environment that we have all been in the last 2 years, and we know how tough this environment and economy has been, indeed, we're expecting our hard work to yield some results. And when you have a platform of the magnitude of the CIMG rewarding your efforts, I would say you feel extremely proud and humbled, as a matter of fact.
I love that.
That this is a humbling experience.
Now, you started off as a biochemist, sir, which is quite impressive to see the transition from being a biochemist to being a successful CEO now. Now, how has your scientific background largely influenced your journey? And was it an easy transition to make into moving from the science background to more marketing and business?
So I think traditionally for people who have studied marketing, I think many people don't really appreciate when you are studying marketing at school, the base of marketing. But when you start to practice and you are practicing it in an environment which is serious, you realize marketing actually has serious foundations in science. So, for example, we do a lot of consumer science. You want to understand your consumer, you do several researches to understand why consumers are using product A or B and why consumers are rejecting product A or B. If you even take price elasticity, what is the limit to which a consumer will be willing to pay for a particular product? So indeed, my background in science, I would say, has been of immense benefit as an asset, as a science person, and now I ended up as a biochemist. You data and how you analyze it is critical to your success, and that is a requirement if you want to be a successful, not only a marketer, but I would say even a head of a business. You need to understand data and be able to connect the dots.
Of course.
That's beautifully said. And well, in case you just joined us, this is a 3FM Drive with myself, Giovanni, Caleb, and AJ Sapong. We're here with the CEO, the chief servant, the boss at the top of GBFoods. And I'm sure by now you should know they are Ghana's favorites and the producers of your Gino and Pomo range of products. They have a lot of new babies in the offing and all. We'll get into that. But let's talk about your style of leadership, your strategic style of leadership. A lot of people have concluded that that is what is waiting for you, especially in challenging times like you admitted earlier. What do you think are the key things you put on the board that probably others are missing or are not doing at all?
So, leading in tough times is, and I agree with you, I would say one of the things that has worked for me is focus. So, keeping our eyes on the ball and having a solution mindset. Once a while, you would get a problem, you may even call it a crisis, you may say life throws you or your business a curved ball. But for me, when you isolate the problem and say, let's spend 10%, 20% max of our time on the problem, and let's move into solution mindset. With that, your energies are focused. You blame people less. Indeed, maybe somebody took a risk, it didn't work, or you guys all got it wrong. You probably lift your hands and say, yes, let's move on. And let's focus our energies on the solution. So one I would say is a solution mindset. Another I would say is just being resilient and not giving up. What has taken place in the last 2-3 years in this environment, I think it requires some tough people with, I call it crocodile skin. You need some strong resilience, because you get several battles in the marketplace or in the work environment.
Outside the textbook, all you've learned.
Yes. This is West Africa, Ghana. They are not in the textbook. They are not. We need to write our own textbooks. And I would say, being able to spring back from a setback, knowing that you won't win all the battles. And this is, for me, one of my principles. I would not win all the battles in my business. But what are the most important battles? Let me focus and win those ones. If I lose 2 battles and I win 8, and the 8 are the most important, I'm fine. I'll give you one extra one, which is empathy. And I'll say, in tough times, you need to remember people are humans, and how you carry people along in a difficult period of time. For example, for us, during COVID, we are now doing hybrid working. Everybody's allowed to work 3 days in, 2 days out. And in the office, it's flexible, open office environment, and open spaces. And how we even communicate. We have an open communication channels of communication. I think all that helps. And people need to feel that you care. And leaders and managers need to really care about what is happening to people. Somebody doesn't show up at work because they have a crisis, or they have to leave because they have an issue. Don't jump to conclusion. They are human. They have been delivering all along. And one day, for whatever reason, they are not able to deliver and you pass judgment. I think that is not how we carry people along in today's environment. And the Gen Zs, these young people of today.
I was coming there. It's good you are there yourself, Mr.
You need to bend backwards. Some of us are 50. But the young graduates of today who are early 20s, they were not wired like us. We were wired differently. They are wired differently, and we need to appreciate what makes them tick and what makes them really succeed.
Oh, it's good as a CEO you recognize, and because
the Gen Z way of working is very different.
I have teenage kids. My daughter is 18 going to 19, my son 16 going to 17.
Oh, wonderful.
So I learn from them. I watch them and I learn.
Oh, you've been schooled at home.
Homeschool.
I like that. It's beautiful to hear this, because a lot of people, especially your generation, are blaming the Gen Zs for their different attitude towards work. And I'm glad to hear you say this, that you have a different approach when it comes to handling them to deliver. There is something at GBFoods that seems to be working, even for those who left the company, who probably want to come back, or those young people you are attracting. And yes, it's not in the focus, it's not in the resilience, it's not in the other things you mentioned. Maybe later you should tell us what that magic is.
Sure.
What is it, the cash?
No, but the cash is equally important. And I think seriously, businesses need to take employee welfare seriously, because there's a statement we used to make in Ghana that some public servants, I remember, used to say in the past, their pay cannot take them home, and those kinds of
your
things.
take home cannot take you home.
Yes. We need to confront these things. And indeed, we don't have a perfect environment, perfect situation, but this is an area we confront head on to say, how can we make the employee experience worthwhile? And we have said that we want to be one of the best places to work in Ghana.
Right.
And so every year we are pushing the boundaries to make people, their pockets feel better, the work environment feel better, provide the tools for them to work, and provide them also a development path. Wow. Somebody wants to grow in an organization, he needs to be able to see his way forward also in the space. So all these coming together, I think, are critical.
That's right. So as CEO and as a leader in the space you're in, a highly competitive FMCG sector you find yourself, I want to find out from you, in fact, hear your own words, how you envision leading GBFoods into future and maintaining the company's successes.
So I would say, even though it has been a tough environment, our shareholders are very confident in Africa and also believe in Ghana as well. And for that reason, they continue to invest. And I think that's a major variable. When you have shareholders who are investing, then you know you can do stuff. Because if people are withholding their investment, then you can imagine. So one, this is something that gives us the confidence to be able to do and to grow the organization. So we'll be growing in some new categories. We've said publicly when in March, April, the president launched the expansion of our factory that we are committed to do agribusiness in Ghana to grow our own tomatoes for our factory in Ghana. We've said that publicly, and we are working to do the groundwork to be able to bring that into fruition. Okay. The other thing I would say is to just grow and develop our people. Because you want an environment where people feel empowered, they feel that they are growing, and they feel work should be fun. Work should not be stressful. We spend how much? 75% of our time working.
Yes.
And should work, that environment be stressful? I think we talked about the Gen Zs, right?
They don't even have that energy.
You make the work environment stressful.
4:59,
they are not showing up again.
Yeah.
So I would say some of these things I would say are critical, but we can't take our eyes off the ball. A business is not a charity.
Sure.
We are here to make profit, and that profit will be shared. Shareholders will take their share, and we, the staff and the brands, our consumers, will also get the share of that investment. And we should not forget it. As we push the boundaries, grow the businesses, consumers are loyal and they continue to remain loyal and buy our brands and products. We, the staff, also get our share. Everybody feels happy in the process.
Absolutely. In case you just joined us, we're spending time with a CIMG. Is it 2022 or 2023? Exactly, 2022 CIMG Man of the Year.
Absolutely.
And this is the highest honor you're giving by the scheme. And yes, here's Mr. David Kofi Aflu of GBFoods, CEO par excellente, one who they love so much. I mean, literally can enter his office
amazing
every day. Like even as a guest, I mean,
can you imagine?
Yeah, as a guest, I get my own fingerprint, so I didn't. He's here spending his Friday with us, and it's good you mentioned all the achievements from human resource to some of the things you guys believe in, the mantra that drives your performance as a leader. But of course, it will not be fair for us to talk about all this and leave out your expansion goals, plans, and all that. So I want to find out from you. GBFoods has invested significantly in expanding its factory and also launching new product lines here in Ghana. So maybe you want to share some insights with us concerning the company's growth and their strategy.
So indeed, today we are into the tomato mix category. We have a little rice, we have some seasoning tablet, we have some herbs and spices. The business is a global business with 70% of the footprint in Europe and 30% in Africa, which has other countries apart from Ghana. So the business is strong in food. And so there are some other categories which are adjacent to the categories we are in, which we believe will be working towards entering in the next few months and years. I've already alluded to the expansion in backward integration by growing our own tomatoes. So that is something that we are seriously looking at.
That's right. Okay, we know it's a Friday, and so we also know that you have the other side. We know you have the other side. So if you are not talking board meetings, you are not talking numbers, you're not talking data, and expansion, growth plan, strategy, guys, we need to work the numbers. We're not talking competition. What do you listen to, sir?
True.
So it depends on the time and the mood.
Oh, okay.
Yes, for me. If it's a hot afternoon, I'll probably listen to country music.
Hot afternoon.
If it's hot afternoon. If it's morning, maybe some gospel.
Okay.
If I'm relaxing, it might be some Kofi Kinata.
Okay.
So that is me. So
which one are we doing? Are we relaxing or is hot afternoon?
I think Kofi Kinata sounds like a good Friday afternoon.
So we are relaxing then.
Yeah.
Which of his songs? Any of them come to mind?
To be honest, I'm a fan. Any Kofi Kinata, he's probably one guy who all his songs they just
that's beautiful.
They be for me. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I'll give you one of his very, very popular ones for us to wrap up the show with. But maybe your fans, to of course your team, to my listeners, just any words you'd want to leave with us, and maybe we start from one thing you want to be remembered for with your role at GBFoods.
So one thing I would want to be remembered for is the footprint of developing people. Because I will not be there forever.
Of course.
The day I leave, one of the things I would want to be remembered for is this is one guy who really invested in people. People have grown through coaching, mentorship, and are ready to move to the next level. If that is a legacy I can leave, I would say that would be a good one. And of course, if this business is 5 times the size it was when I left it, that would definitely be a legacy that I would be proud of.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. And for the Gen Zs whom you love so much, any advice based on your observations?
So I would say to the Gen Zs that they should understand we who are the 50 pluses that we are not as strange as probably they imagine. It's just because we were socialized differently.
Thank you.
And they should be patient with us.
Thank you.
Our intentions are good. But there are some rules I would say do not change.
Okay.
There are some rules of work that do not change.
Such as?
Work would always be
such as
profit driven.
Okay.
Work would always be growth driven, profit driven. So if they want to work in multinationals or in corporate, which are profit oriented organizations, those difficult conversations they cannot escape from. Which is, if you are not delivering on your numbers, there will be difficult conversations. And they should be willing to accept and grow. And yes, indeed, the people who are in my generation needs to also bend backwards to appreciate that they are not the type who will not answer back when they feel we are intimidating them. So we should not intimidate them. Let's encourage them, because I can't intimidate my 19-year-old. She will not accept it. So why should I intimidate a 22-year-old who is working with us? So I think that once we who are the leaders today accept that we can't treat them the way we were treated when we were 19, 20, and the Gen Zs accept that for them to grow, there are no shortcuts. Sadly, even though we have social media, and we think that the world today, when an Apple 15, iPhone 15 is launched in the States, in 1 day or 2 days, we have the same here. So sometimes we forget and we think the whole world is a plug and play. But there are no shortcuts to development. You need to pay the price. You need to work hard. You need to get competent at something and be a reference that this guy, if it comes to analytics, this is the guy. If it comes to understanding this particular area, the guy has invested to become a master. There is no shortcut there. And once they invest in time and effort and development and they become solid, they would get the reward. That reward for them,
bounty.
all of them I know want to drive Range Rovers.
Yes.
So they should pay the price and they will drive Range Rovers.
I love that. And guys, you can only hear that from a CEO right now.
True.
This is no BHR. This is the CEO. So you want to hear this very well, especially if you have plans of working with multinational. There are certain things, like you said, that would never change.
Yeah.
And these are more like universal rules in the world of work. Thank you so much, Mr. David Aflo, for spending part of your Friday with us.
Love that.
We're going to wrap up with that Kofi Kinata song for you. I have Thy Grace, and I also have Suzuka. I don't know which one works for you.
Thy Grace.
Thy Grace, please. I'll do that for you. But we also want you to leave us with two things, more like your personal mantra, things that you've lived your life by right from Presec till today. That it's non-negotiable. It's just something that you would carry on to the next generation and all that. So we learn our lessons before the weekend.
So two. One is a statement. Sometimes I think I coined it because I didn't hear it anywhere. But one day I Googled it and I saw it. So I don't know whether
it is you. I don't even want to Google it.
And
You.
it goes as the market always wins. The market always wins. So that is one mantra. The other mantra, which is my personal mantra, is in God I trust.
Wow.
And I have deep faith in God, and that is how I wake up every morning with a smile to face my challenges. So that would be the second one.
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ, I really enjoyed myself.
No,
today.
I did.
In fact, Monday expects application letters. With all that you've told us, Gen Z, arise. But I want to say thank you so much. We wish you a fruitful year as you enjoy your tenure as the Man of the Year.
Absolutely.
CIMG Man of the Year.
Let's know when the party is happening.
The Marketing Man of the Year. And also, you won this together with the Woman of the Year. Is the Vodafone to you, right?
Patricia.
Yes, Vodafone to you.
Yeah.
You both went to the same school.
Yes.
Yeah. Presec is always
Hey,
at home.
Presec, continue to pressure us, suffocate us, choke us, press our neck. And also want to commend you and your team for supporting us on Kitchen Wars.
Absolutely.
Which is happening tomorrow.
Yes.
We're throwing an open invitation to all of you. We have Ajeti Anan, who will be there. We have
Jackie Appiah.
Jackie was there last year. Definitely this year
she's
probably pass
she's
through.
repping again this year. And of course, the schools that are going to be facing off, Holy Child,
Thank
Tema, secondary, Tamale,
Thank
secondary,
you.
and finally Achimota.
Thank you. Do you have a favorite in there? Your school is not in there, but that's okay. That's
In
okay.
any other school you affiliate with.
Christian gentleman, they're doing from Ohubeng.
You're not a liberty.
They're supposed to be fasting.
I'm neutral on this one. May the best and the most deserving school win.
That's right.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite? I'm throwing them under the bus.
Please,
Let me throw them under the bus. Your favorite products from your
GBFoods
line of your product lines.
You're constant.
So, my marketing team shouldn't hear this.
Yes. Hi, Sam Derry. Thank you. Switch off. Listen to Onya.
The Gino pepper and onion, I think is a fantastic product.
Wow.
Yes, it has pepper, it has onion, plus your tomatoes. So if you don't have pepper, you don't have onions, you
It's
are
a good
cool.
mix. We used that for when we did the
competition.
the GMB cooking one, and then it got us second, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
And my favorite is the Gino curry.
Okay.
It takes your stew from bland to extraordinary.
My
I can't do any
favorite,
stew without
is
it.
the food they cook with all that.
You're right.
What
You're
are the
right.
go search for kitchen?
You're right.
The finished product is my favorite. So have a wonderful weekend.